My wife tried to frame me for cheating to break the prenup and take everything. She yelled, "You're disgusting! My mom warned me about you." I stayed quiet, let her file first, then used the fake evidence she created to ruin her in court. Hello Reddit I Plus here. My name is Adrian Knox, and I'm 35 years old. I design counter-surveillance tech and consult for private security firms. Not a flashy life, but a solid, quiet one. I paid off my student loans before I turned 30, bought a small house in Portland outright, and built up a strong savings portfolio. I've always lived below my means. No designer brands, no social media flexing, just discipline, control, safety. Then came Mara. She was 32, a vet tech with soft eyes and a smile that could lower your defenses in seconds. We met at a friend's birthday picnic. She wasn't loud or flashy like the others. She made sarcastic jokes about influencers, claimed she hated materialism, and always smelled like cedar wood and dog shampoo. I remember thinking, finally, someone real. For a while, she was everything I thought I needed. Funny, grounded, low maintenance. She talked about adopting rescue dogs and starting a backyard garden. We bonded over camping trips, long walks, and our mutual distaste for people who live for likes. A year in, I proposed. Mara cried like I'd handed her the moon. I was cautious, though. I asked her to sign a prenup, one I'd already discussed with a family attorney years ago. It wasn't cruel, just protective. If either of us cheated, the other got everything. If she left without cause, she'd take only what she brought in: a 2014 Subaru, a couple thrifted bookshelves, and a milk frother that didn't work half the time. She acted like I'd slapped her with a divorce notice on our wedding day, stormed out, came back crying, claimed she was insulted that I didn't trust her. But after a few days of tears and, "I know you're just trying to protect yourself," she agreed and signed. I thought we were good. We got married in a quiet garden ceremony. For a while, it was bliss. She decorated the house, picked out wallpaper samples like it was her full-time job. She said she needed time to adjust before going back to work. I didn't push her. I wanted her to feel at home. 6 months later, Mara started unraveling. She became moody, warm one day, freezing cold the next. She said she felt trapped and overwhelmed. I offered her space, time alone, even weekends with her friends, but every offer made her accuse me of emotional detachment. Then things turned dark. I came home early one night to find her whispering in the hallway, tense and shifty. When she saw me, she jumped like I'd walked in on something criminal, said it was her sister. Fine, I left it alone. 2 days later, she staged the incident. We were driving to her sister's house, one of those forced Sunday lunches I never enjoyed. Out of nowhere, she leaned forward and pulled a phone out from under the passenger seat. "What's this?" she said, eyes wide, holding it like it was radioactive. It wasn't mine. It was an old Android I'd never seen before. She tapped the screen like she already knew the passcode. Then she froze, her face twisting into pure, rehearsed betrayal. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Are you cheating on me with someone named Brielle?" She held up the screen, green bubbles of flirty messages from me to someone named Brielle. I blinked, read them again. "Can't wait to see you again. She doesn't suspect a thing. And the kicker? You looked amazing in that red dress." It felt like I was watching a bad movie. "This isn't real," I said. "That's not my phone. That's not even how I text. Look at the format." She exploded, screamed, cried, threw open the car door before we'd even parked. Her bag, already packed, was in the back seat. She slammed the door and walked off like I was a criminal. She made a scene when we got to her sister's, cried in the driveway, yelled about betrayal, abuse, how I was just like her father. And me, I just sat there, stunned, thinking, she set this up, all of it. That night, I called my best friend, Lucas, a forensic software consultant for law enforcement. I showed him the phone. He took one look at it and said, "You know she planted this, right?" 2 hours later, he had a full data dump. The messages were all copy-pasted from the Notes app. There was no recipient, no incoming texts, just a digital monologue Mara wrote herself and pasted into a messaging app to make it look like a conversation. And the kicker? The metadata revealed all messages were written 2 hours before we left for her sister's house. She was trying to void the prenup. She didn't want a divorce. She wanted a win. The house, the savings, everything I built, and she knew the only way to get around the prenup was to claim I had cheated. She played the long con, but forgot she married someone who writes counter-con tools for a living. 2 days later, I got served. A petition for divorce, citing emotional abandonment, infidelity, and financial coercion. She accused me of everything under the sun, included screenshots, even a photo of her looking devastated in the mirror. Cute. I didn't say a word to her. I just filed a counter motion with an evidence list. Forensic proof of message fabrication, security footage of her rehearsing her betrayal speech, her PayPal receipt to a shady investigator she hired to tail me, and screenshots of her on Reddit, asking how to make a cheating case stick in court. We subpoenaed her sister's texts, found messages where Mara said, "If I play this right, I walk with half. If he falls for it, all of it." My attorney, Naomi, a stone-cold courtroom assassin, said, "She played a role. Now we'll let the court decide if she wins an Oscar or a felony." The day of the hearing, Mara showed up in pearls and beige like a budget Jackie Kennedy. Her new lawyer, fresh out of grad school, tried to negotiate a quiet settlement. We said no. In court, Naomi unveiled everything. The burner phone, the copied messages, the video of Mara crying into a mirror the night before the fake discovery, whispering, "Just act like he stabbed you," the bank records, the Reddit posts, and my favorite, her email to the investigator asking if fake screenshots would hold up if printed. Her lawyer went silent after the second slide. Mara stopped blinking altogether. The judge asked if she had anything to say. She looked down and whispered, "I just wanted to feel protected." He replied, "You weaponized a false narrative for personal gain. That is not protection. That is fraud." Final ruling. Prenup stands. No spousal support. She covers all legal fees. She leaves with what she brought in. 1 Subaru, 1 cracked frother, and 0 credibility. After the hearing, she chased me to the parking lot. "Adrian, please." I didn't turn around. "You don't owe closure to someone who tried to assassinate your character with Photoshop and tears." She tried again a week later, through her mother, left me a voicemail. "She was just scared, Adrian. She loved you. She made a mistake. Number, you don't accidentally orchestrate a 6-month-long fraud campaign and fake text an imaginary mistress." I changed the locks, shut down joint accounts, filed a restraining order after she tried to break in through the back porch, just to talk. And now, I sleep fine, because she thought she married a soft-spoken tech nerd. She forgot I was trained to detect intrusions. She was the final virus, and I built the firewall. A month after Mara's last message, I thought it was over. The failed trap, the courtroom fallout, the silent exit. But people like Mara and the ones who raised her don't vanish. They regroup. It started with a phone call I ignored, then a voicemail I didn't listen to, then a letter, handwritten, not from Mara, but from her mother, Claire. Claire always rubbed me the wrong way. She smiled too much, complimented my home while scanning it like a realtor. She called me responsible, the same way you'd call a hotel towel clean enough. And behind that sweet lavender perfume and pearls exterior was someone who raised Mara to believe that love was just leverage in disguise. Her letter said, "Adrian, I'm writing not as Mara's mother, but as someone who saw the good in you. You were kind, patient, gentle. We all make mistakes, and I won't pretend Mara didn't, but I watched her fall apart these last few weeks. You were her anchor. Please, give her a chance to explain. She wants to meet you for coffee, just one conversation. If not for her, then for closure. Warmly, Claire." Closure? Number. This wasn't about healing, it was about control. I waited 24 hours. Then, I sent the letter to my attorney, Naomi, who replied, "They're testing boundaries. Don't flinch." And I didn't, but they weren't done. A week later, Ivy and I went to a small tech industry awards dinner. I wasn't up for anything, just attending. Halfway through the night, while Ivy was chatting with some guests, I stepped outside to take a breath of fresh air. That's when I saw her, Claire, standing next to Mara. They approached slowly, like two women trying to feed a wounded animal. Mara wore a beige sweater and no makeup. Her mother had that same rehearsed concern on her face that she used to wear during Sunday dinners, when she'd pretend to just be curious about my finances. Mara looked like she was about to cry. I didn't move. "Adrian," Claire started, "we didn't want to ambush you, but you've made it impossible to speak with you any other way." I raised an eyebrow. "There's a reason for that." Mara stepped forward. "I'm not asking to fix everything. I just want to talk, really talk." "About what?" I said flatly. "How you forged text messages and hired a fake PI to destroy my reputation?" She flinched. Claire jumped in. "She was sick, Adrian. Mentally. We got her help. She's healing." I shook my head. Number. She's not healing. She's rebranding." Claire's smile faded. Mara looked down, playing the victim card so hard it practically crumpled in her hands. "I know you're with someone now," she whispered. "But can't we just reset? Start as friends? Friends?" This was a woman who tried to legally rob me and leave me labeled a cheater in public court. I looked them both in the eye. There's no friendship here. There's no sympathy. There's no access. Claire's jaw tightened. "So, that's it? After everything she's been through?" I took a step forward and calmly said, "She's been through? Claire, your daughter tried to fake infidelity to nullify a prenup, steal a home she didn't pay for, and ruin my career. She nearly succeeded. If I didn't know how to defend myself digitally, I'd be homeless, jobless, and branded as emotionally abusive." They were silent. And now you're both here, in designer clothes, with tears cued like clockwork, asking me to reopen a door that only exists in your heads. Mara's voice cracked. I still love you. You loved the lifestyle, I replied. You loved the house, the stability, the peace, but you didn't love me. If you did, you wouldn't have tried to destroy me the moment you thought you could upgrade your exit plan. Claire reached out to touch my arm. I stepped back, and then I said the last thing I ever would to either of them. Love doesn't come back through manipulation. And trust? That only breaks once. Then I turned and walked inside. Ivy saw my face as I sat down. She raised an eyebrow. They try again? She asked casually. I nodded. Last gasp. She clinked her glass to mine. Rest in peace, Mara and Mother. That night, I blocked Claire's number too. I had already changed my bank accounts, my passwords, my emergency contacts, but this wasn't about security anymore. This was about dignity, the kind of dignity that no one can give you, the kind you reclaim after surviving a smear campaign, a courtroom ambush, and two master manipulators who thought they could weaponize guilt, nostalgia, and fake forgiveness. I never responded to their letters again. I never gave them closure. I never offered one more ounce of energy, because people like that don't want healing. They want a sequel. And I don't do reruns. When someone sets fire to your name, frames you for crimes you didn't commit, and then cries when they get burned, let them burn. You don't owe the arsonist your water. Let them learn that once a bridge is reduced to ashes, the only thing left to do is watch you walk forward, with someone better beside you, and peace at your back, because real strength is never loud. It just knows when to walk away and never look back.